Great Yarmouth, February the 13th. A man walks to a podium in a room that smells of salt, air and old carpet. He's not a career politician, he was the chairman of Southampton Football Club. A successful businessman, the kind of man who has spent his entire life in the practical world, where things either work or they don't. Now he's an MP, the greatest MP I have ever seen. He speaks for about 20 minutes.
I now want to address the national political landscape. I've thought long and hard about what I'm going to say to you. And I've come to a stark conclusion. Simply no other way. This is the only choice. You sent me there to fight for change, not to do things how they've always been done, not to accept more and more relentless decline. You sent me there to try and fix things. And I have tried, I've honestly tried. And it almost got me sent to prison. I've used every tool available to a backbench member of Parliament, and more. Parliamentary questions, committees, motions, speeches, petitions, everything and anything. Sometimes we succeeded, more often than not, we haven't. The system simply will not shift. And nothing has shaped my thinking more than our crowd-funded independent inquiry of Pakistani Muslim rape gangs. An inquiry that should never have had to exist. An inquiry that I created only because the political system itself would not act. That inquiry has been the most sobering experience of my public life. Not just because of the awful crimes, not just because of the horrific suffering, but because of what it exposed about the way this country is governed. Many officials were even involved in the rapes themselves. We must call it what it is. It was, and still is, to this day, the rape of Britain. They can call me Islamophobic, racist, or whatever else. Emily Maitlis did so. Let me be abundantly clear with you tonight. I do not care. Britain does not need tinkering, minor reform around the edges, not carefully curated cosmetic changes, just this time with the same failed ministers wearing a turquoise rosette. It needs restoration, full-scale restoration. A restoration of courage, a restoration of responsibility, a restoration of a political culture that exists to serve the public, not simply protect itself.
By the following morning, 50,000 people have joined him. By the end of the week, 80,000. Councillors resigning from other parties, defections. Momentum that the analysts couldn't model because it wasn't political momentum, it was something older. His name is Rupert Lowe, and I want to talk about his name for a moment because in this story names matter. Lowe. It's not English in origin, it's German. Lowe, it means lion. The lion plays an important part in England's story, and I'm going to come back to that. Because tonight I want to make a case, not a political one. I'm not here to sell you a party or a platform or a manifesto. I want to make a cultural case, a historical case. The case that England, this island, this people, this extraordinary, maddening, creative, legally visionary, stubbornly independent nation was never dying. It was just gathering itself for the next part of its incredible story. And the story of Rupert Lowe is not really the story of a politician. It's the story of what happens when a people remembers what it is and who it is. Let me give you the shape of it. June 2025, a pressure group called Restore Britain is founded. The initial cause is the Pakistani rape gang inquiry, and let me be specific about what that means. For years, decades, gangs of men in English towns and cities systematically abused thousands of girls. The youngest were children, and it was happening in plain sight. And the institutions that should have stopped it, the police, social services, local councils, didn't stop it. In some cases, they looked away. In some cases, they were warned and chose not to act. And worse, in some cases, they were complicit in it. An inquiry was needed, a proper national inquiry into how this happened and who failed these children. The Labour government said, no, not yet, not in this form, not now. So the British public raised £600,000 to pay for the inquiry themselves. That number needs to sit there a moment, because £600,000 is not what people give when they're mildly irritated. That's what people give when something has been sitting in them for a long time. And someone has finally opened the door. February the 13th, 2026, Lowe announces the pressure group is becoming a full political party. Great Yarmouth, the speech is direct, unapologetic. He doesn't soften it, he doesn't hedge.
That is why today I am launching Restore Britain as a national political party.